Right now, your nervous system is lying to you. You feel the weight of this body. You feel the texture of the cloth you're wearing. And you come to a conclusion that this body is you. Even I used to think the same. But in last few months, I went down a rabbit hole and which made me believe that this body is not me. And by going down that rabbit hole, I came to realize the real nature of reality. Now, I'm not saying I'm a guru or I know everything or I have answers to all the questions. No, not in any way. I'm just a seeker. I'm just curious about who I am. What is the true nature of reality? And after months of deliberate research and study, I came to find that this body is not me. I am. The true I is beyond time. It has no age, and definitely it cannot be found by dissecting this body. Thousands of years old Vedic ancient text and modern quantum mechanics all point out in the same direction that you are quite literally a consciousness, a spirit, a ghost driving this biological machine, this biological body. This video will be based upon the recorded, written evidences by ancient monks and modern physicists. And there is an uncanny level of similarities between the both. Let's dive in. Now, according to Vedic science, thousands of years before the invention of microscopes and brain scans, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishnji clearly states the difference between the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna. Kshetra, the field, and the Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. Now, according to this verse, it literally states, know myself to be the Kshetrajna, an individual soul. Also, in all the Kshetras, Arjun, and it is the knowledge of the Kshetras and the Kshetrajna, the Kshetras and the Kshetrajna, the field and the knower of the field, which I consider as wisdom. So, according to Bhagavad Gita, true wisdom is knowing the difference between the Kshetra, the field, and the Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. Now, what exactly is a field? Field is everything that we interact with. This body, physical matter, everything we see around it, everything we think, it's a field. And we are operator or the knower of the field, Kshetrajna. In another verse, Krishnji clearly states, the senses are said to be greater than the body, but greater than the senses is the mind. Greater than the mind is the intellect, and what is greater than the intellect is He, the Self. Your mind and your intellect are not you. You are beyond it. They are simply higher functioning software programs running on this biological hardware. Now, what does this exactly mean? With this simple hierarchy, we came to understand that the true I is beyond mind, body, senses, intellect, and even thoughts. That is the knower of all these things, the true I. Now let's see what Taittiriya Upanishad has to say about this differentiation. So according to Taittiriya Upanishad, there are 5 koshas or 5 sheets or covering, you may call it. It states from the outermost to the innermost. They are food sheath, vital sheath, mental sheath, the knowledge sheath, and the blissful sheath. What you call your physical body is merely the Anmaya Kosh. Now, the names can be confusing, but it simply says that this biological body, our existence in this physical world, is being governed by these five koshas or coverings, having their own individual workings and purpose, we may call it. And still, we are beyond this. Our identity is not linked to these five koshas or coverings. Now, let's see what Sant Kabir, the great saint, has to say about this. Now, according to my studies and my research in past few months, Sant Kabir explained the existence and the working of this creation in great detail in his creation, the Anurag Sagar. Let's give it a read. So here Kabirji explains about the Anmay Kosh. When the cognitive, mind-bound and impulsive soul works upon the Prakriti, it forges therein yet another type of covering, that of Anmay. This is the last of the five sheets. And for its maintenance, it begins to feel a continuing need for or food stuff and other sense objects. When the cognitive, mind bound, impulsive soul works upon the Prakriti, what does it mean? When the soul, our spirit, us, works upon the Prakriti, what is Prakriti? Prakriti is just the manifestation of five elements. As we have read in our primary school, that this creation, nature, Prakriti, is made up of five fundamental elements. Now, what are those elements? Those are earth, fire, air, water, and space. Now, a soul, when it works upon these elements, upon Prakriti, it forges another covering, the fifth and the last covering, known as Anmay Kosh by the ancient monks. And for its existence, it begins to feel the need of food and sense objects. Let's read ahead. This Anmay covering is just an inner lining of the physical body, gross matter, which in fact is its own manifestation, and it continues to wrap the soul even when its outer form, that is, body, declines, decays, and disintegrates. The existence of this coarse physical body depends upon the healthy condition of Anmay Kosh on the inside of it. So, our outer physical body is the manifestation of inner Anmay Kosh. Now, according to Sant Kabir, Anmay Kosh even exists after the death, after the disintegration of this physical body. Even after it decays, it still exists. But remember, it needs food and sense objects for its existence. Some of the souls, even when they cast off their outer physical body, still hanker after food because of the Anmay Kosh, hunt after the pleasures of the world, and continue to haunt human habitations in their wanderings for satisfaction of the innate craving. It is to satisfy these cravings of physical disembodied souls that the Hindus perform Pinddan or Sharad and make offerings to the mains or the departed souls so that they may find rest and peace. Now, it clearly says that even after the disintegration or the death of this physical body, Anmay Kosh, because of its innate cravings for food and sense objects, it haunts the human habitation. Now, that explains all the paranormal activities and their cravings and their purpose of haunting the humans. To avoid that and to satisfy this hunger, us Hindus perform Pinddan or Sharad. Now that explains all the rituals. Let's move ahead. Now, after going through three different ancient texts, Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, and Anurag Sagar, we came to know that this body is not us. It is not our true identity. Our true identity is way inside, hidden under these coverings. Let's see what Advaita Vedanta has to say about this. Now, Advaita Vedanta summarizes this profound separation with terrifying clarity. I have entered this body as a bird enters a nest by the force of the merit and the demerit accumulated by myself. By the force of the merit and the demerit accumulated by myself. That means by the accumulation of good karma and the bad karma, I have entered this body, this physical and biological machine. Therefore, I am eternal and different from the body. The bodies come and go like a person's garment. Now, you must put away the thought that this body is the self. This is just the compound of skin, flesh, fat, bone, and water. Now, these are the verses in Advait Makrant which clearly states that this body is not you. The true you is buried under these coverings. The word given to this operator in Advait Vedanta is the witness, the Sakshi. You can have a screenshot of this and later give it a read. Now, this all is just a philosophy. In our experience, this body is our true identity. We can feel it when we pinch ourselves. We can feel the air around us. We can feel when we breathe in, when we breathe out. And how can we distinct this body, this experience, and say that this is not us? This is just an illusion, as our text says. Let's see what Max Planck, the father of quantum mechanics, says about this. I regard consciousness as the fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Now, Max Planck is a Nobel laureate. And surprisingly, he lands very close, very, very close to our ancient Vedic text. Now, let's see how these modern physicists came to this conclusion. There is an experiment called double slit experiment. According to double slit experiment, when a photon is emitted through the double slits and there was not an observer, there was not any sensor to observe, to record it, it behaved like a wave-like pattern. But when the same experiment was conducted in the presence of a sensor, an observer, then the particle, the photon which was emitted and made to cross through the double slits reacted in a different way. Now, rather than behaving like the wave of potentials in the previous experiment, it behaved like a matter in the presence of a sensor, an observer. And this experiment was repeated again and again with the same results. So it says a lot about the nature of reality, that the photons, that the reality exists as the wave of potentials and a matter at the same time. Its manifestation depends upon the existence of the observer, the witness, the Sakshi of Advaita Vedanta. Now, this proves the fact that energy behaves differently when an observer interacts with it. Now let's see what Schrödinger has to say about this. In 1926, Schrödinger came up with his own atomic model, which became the basis of modern quantum physics. In our science textbooks, we must have seen these atomic models. So, according to Rutherford atomic model, we used to believe that electrons revolve around the nucleus in their fixed 2D orbits. But Schrödinger proved it wrong with his own experiments and his own atomic model. Let's see what he has to say. He proposed that an electron behaves like a wave-like manner rather than just a particle. Thus, electrons are both particles and waves at the same time. Since electrons are waves, they do not remain localized in a 2D orbit, which, according to Rutherford, was the case. Now, instead of being organized in a 2D orbit, electrons are actually found in 3D orbitals. Each orbital defines an area where the probability of finding an electron is high. These orbitals are known as electron clouds. Now, Schrödinger, with his atomic model, also proved that atoms, which make up everything around us, including you, are over 99% space. If you scaled up an atom to the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be a marble at the center of the field, and the electrons would be specks near the outer edges. If all that space disappeared and the atoms were compressed like a neutron star, the entire Earth would shrink to about 305 meters across, roughly the size of a stadium. So, essentially, we are just space, empty space. Everything around us, everything that we see as physical matter, is made up of atoms, and atoms are 99% space. Let's see what Nikola Tesla has to say about this. If you want to understand the secrets of universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibrations. What you perceive as solid flesh is nothing more than a tightly bound energetic frequency. Now, what did we come to understand? That Nikola Tesla, Schrödinger, Max Planck, and double slit experiment all points in the same direction, which is very, very close to our ancient Vedic text. They all say that whatever we see as solid is just tightly bound vibrations, frequencies, or energy field. Remember the field, the Kshetra. And we, as the observer, as the witness of it, collapse its wave function. So now the research got even stranger. In 1947, an accident occurred in USA at Roswell Airfield. There was a crash of an UFO, and it was also covered by the national media and newspapers. They called it the flying saucer. Later, the fact was denied by the officials, but that incident is covered in great detail in the book called Alien Interview, and it is also available on Amazon right now. This is the first-hand account of Matilda McElroy, which was a nurse who was posted at that Roswell airfield when that incident happened. And according to her, they captured the extraterrestrial entity which tried contacting with her telepathically. I know it seems so strange, but the amount of information and the details which are mentioned, which are given in this book, is so profound, and it lands so close to the concepts that we discussed earlier that it gets very hard to ignore. Now, according to Matilda McElroy, she kept this a secret for 60 years. This is what she has to say. Only a small handful of people on earth have seen and heard what I have had the burden of keeping secret for 60 years. So, When she was on her deathbed, she decided to give all these secret documents and transcripts. So, according to the transcripts, that alien entity, that ET, called us an SB, an immortal spiritual being. Let's give it a read. Immortal spiritual beings, which are referred to as SBs for the sake of convenience, are the source and creators of illusions, each one individually and collectively in their original, unfettered state of being, are an eternal, all powerful, all knowing entity. So, this concept was covered in great detail in the book, and it was as surprising as it gets, and it further solidifies the fact. According to the alien entity, the consciousness operates this artificial vehicle, and our consciousness is right now trapped within these coverings, which we are not aware of. Now, according to the book, that entity further explains that each one of us is a creator, a all knowing creator, which is right now trapped in this body and has forgot its true identity. I'm not going to give you just theory. I'm actually going to prove it to you live in next 90 seconds using nothing but your own attention. Now watch this beam. It can land on the curtains behind me. It can land on my hand or on my face. It can land on literally everything in this room. Except one. It can never land on itself. The bulb can't shine its light back onto its own bulb and see itself glowing. It can reveal everything except the source doing the revealing. Now hold on to that. We are going to run the same experiment except with your own attention rather than this light. Right now, just feel the weight of your body. Wherever you are sitting, on bed, on chair, just feel the weight of your body against it. Feel the air around you. Feel the temperature around you. Good. You just did something worth noticing. You felt it, which means it showed up for you. In the same way, the curtain, my hand, showed up in the beam. So here's the question. Can the thing being revealed ever be the one doing the revealing? If you can feel your body, the weight of it, then definitely you are not the body. You are the one it is showing up for. Now, don't try to make this happen. Just wait. Let a thought arrive. There, did you catch it? A thought walked into the room of your mind, and just like the body, it showed up. Which means the thought too appeared for you. The same rule applies. If you can watch something appearing, then definitely it is not you. You are the room it is arriving in. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You have seen the body, you have seen the thought. Definitely, both of these things are not you. Now, reverse your attention and try to notice the one who is doing all the seeing. Try to catch it. Just try to see the seer. And notice you can't find a thing there. No shape, no location, no edges. It's nothing. Not because it's missing, because it was never an object to begin with. It's not hiding from you. It is something that you are looking out of, and not something that you could ever look at. Now that's the whole experiment. You don't have to believe anything. You just have to look. And the one thing you can't look at, that you can't quite catch, that's you. The ancient text had a name for it, the witness, the Sakshi. So, this was just step one, not the whole picture. And this phrase exactly sums up my study, my research on these topics. Spirituality is just a higher understanding of physics. Now, the next question naturally comes, how does this system works? So this will be the topic for our next masterclass, the Wheel of 8.4 million, famously known as Churasi Lakh in Indian ancient text. So trust me, I'm very deep in my notes right now, and it's genuinely in progress, and I'll share whatever I find with utmost clarity with you. So do give a thumbs up if you find it eye-opening and surprising. Also, I would like to know in comments that did you find the hand experiment interesting? Was it eye-opening? How did it work for you? I'll see you in the next video.